Welcome to next session. In this session, we'll solve GATE 2013 Mechanical Engineering paper with particularly the question asked from section 2. Okay, so this is section 2. Section 2 is applied mechanics and design. Okay, so we'll solve the question only, the question asked only from this design section. Okay, so this is the previous of GATE. Okay, so uh, according to the exam, I have calculated a with answer key. Okay, published by the okay. So the first question from this section is question number 4. Okay, so here we go. A road of length L having uniform cross sectional area is subjected to tensile force P as shown in the figure below. If the Young's modulus of material varies linearly from E1 to E2 along the length of the road, the normal stress developed in section SS is option A P by A, option B P E1 minus E2 divided by A E1 plus E2, C P E2 A by A E1, D P E1 A E2. Okay, so uh, as the stress doesn't depend upon the Young's modulus of elasticity, it only depends upon the load, internal resistance area. So the stress is only load by area. So option A is the right one. Okay. Next, the threaded bolts A and B of same material and length are subjected to identical tensile load. If the elastic strain energy stored in bolt A is 4 times that of bolt B and the mean diameter of bolt A is 12 mm, then the mean diameter of bolt B in mm is option A 16, option B 24, option C 36, option D 48. Okay. So here it is given that the both the bolts are subject to identical load, so P is the tensile load acting on bolts A and B, and both have the same material. If the Young's modulus of elasticity for both the materials is same, okay, and both have same length. Okay. So L is the length. So, and the bolt A has diameter of 12 mm, and we have to determine the uh, diameter of bolt B with the strain energy of bolt A is 4 times that of bolt B. Okay, so let del XA is the extension of bolt A. Okay, and del XB is the extension of bolt B. Okay, now we know that if we load A is area, L is length, E is del X A is by P into L by E. So A here is according to 12. Okay. Similarly, the extension of the bolt B is this P by A, where area is pi by 4 dB square PLE. Okay. Now the energy stored is force into displacement by 2. Okay. So force is P or displacement or deflection is XA for voltage. So either is energy. So this is energy. And similarly, the energy stored in B is P into del XB by 2. That is P by 2 PL divided by 4 D square E. Okay. So the strain energy stored in both the bolt are in the ratio of 4. Okay. As it is given, the elastic energy of the bolt is 4 times that of bolt B. So E1 by E2 is 4. So from this, we can calculate by putting E1 and E2. We can calculate dB. So dB is your 24 mm. So answer is the answer. Okay. Next question. Next question is a link OB is rotating with a constant angular velocity of 2 radians per second. So let us check out the answers. for question number 4A and for question number 5 will be B. So for first question it is A. Okay, and for it is B. Okay, next. A link OB is rotating with a constant angular velocity of 2 radians per second in counterclockwise direction. A block is sliding towards readily outwards on it with an uniform velocity of 0.75 meter per second with respect to the road as shown in the figure below. If OA is 1 meter, this length is 1 meter. Okay. The magnitude of the absolute acceleration of the block at location A in meter per second square is option A 3, option B 4, option C 5, option D 6. Okay. So uh, now it is given that the velocity of the slider along the length along the link is 0.75 and angular velocity is your 2 radian per second. Okay. So the velocity of point A is 2 into 1. Okay. Into angular velocity. Okay. Now, as there is no acceleration of this, no angular acceleration of this link, only the slider is sliding. So there will be only centripetal component of acceleration. Okay, so that component will be equal to omega square by r. Omega is angular velocity and r is radius. So at point A, the centripetal acceleration will be omega square r. And due to combination of this rotation and this sliding motion, there will be constant component of effect that will be 2b omega. So 2b omega will be in this direction and omega square r will be in this direction. The resultant of these two will be your acceleration. Okay. So the value of omega is 2, b is 0.75 and so constant component 2b omega is 3 and centripetal component omega square r 2 square into 1 equal to 4. Okay. So A in both the cases, sorry, A will be resultant of this 3 square plus 4 square equal to 5. So answer is your C. So answer to this question number 6 is C. 5. Okay. Next, next is question number 17. For a ductile material, toughness is a measure of resistance to scratching, B. Ability to absorb energy up to fracture, C. Ability to absorb energy till elastic limit, D. Resistance to indentation. So it is the measure of ability to absorb energy up to fracture. Okay. Okay. So toughness is given by this area up to fracture. Okay. And up to this, the area is resilience. So this is the strain energy stored for unit volume. Okay, the area of this graph is strain energy stored for unit volume and up to elastic limit it is resilience and up to fracture limit it is toughness. Okay, so answer is here B. So question number 17, answer is B. Okay, next, next is question number 21. A thin-walled, slender shell closed at both the ends is subjected to an internal pressure. Okay, the ratio of hoop stress to longitudinal stress, the ratio of hoop stress to longitudinal stress developed in the shell is as the vessel is a cylindrical vessel. So there are two stresses. One is hoop stress and other is your longitudinal stress. So hoop stress is PD by 2D and longitudinal stress is PD by 40. Okay. So answer the ratio the sigma beta and sigma is 2. Answer is C. 21 C. Okay. So answer is 21 C. Next, if two nodes are observed at frequency 1800 rpm during burning of quickly sputtered long cylinder rotating shaft, the first critical speed of the shaft in rpm is A 200, B 450, C 600, D 900. Okay. So the frequency, the whirling frequency of the shaft is given as n square fc, where fc is critical speed and f is your uh, that frequency. Okay. So putting the value n in number of loops, that is number of nodes plus one. So it is 3. So add f is your 1800 in rpm. Okay. So fc will also be in rpm. Okay. So that is 200 rpm. On this number 22. Question number 22. Answer is A. Okay. Next, next is your 23. 23rd. A planar closed kinematic chain is formed with rigid links. PQ is equal to 2 meter, QR is equal to 3 meter, RS is equal to 2.5 meter, and ST is equal to 2.7 meter with all revolute joints. The link to be fixed to obtain double rocker or rocker-rocker mechanism is to obtain rocker-rocker mechanism, we have to fix the link opposite to the shortest link. Okay, this is the shortest link, 1.2 meter. Sorry, the link opposite to the shortest link. The link opposite to the shortest link is your this 2 meter. Okay, so this is 2 meter. Okay, shortest link is your PQ and opposite to shortest is your SR. Okay, so answer is RS or SR, option C. Question number 23. C. Okay, next. Next question is question number 31. A flywheel connected to a punching machine has to supply energy of 400 Newton meter while running at mean angular speed of 20 radian per second. If the total fluctuation of speed is not to exceed plus minus 2%, the mass moment of inertia of flywheel in kilogram meter square is A 25, B 50, C 100, D 125. Okay, so here a flywheel is given. Here a flywheel is given and it has to supply 400 Newton meter energy. Okay, so and it is running at the mean speed of 20 meters per second. Okay, and the fluctuation speed is plus minus 2%. Okay, so as the mean speed is given, we can find out maximum speed and fluctuation of speed is given. So we can find out mean speed and sorry, we can find out maximum speed and minimum speed. So E is your I omega 1 square by 2 minus I omega 2 square by 2. Okay, so this is your fluctuation of energy. Okay, I omega 1 square by 2 minus I omega 2 square by 2. Okay, so this is fluctuation of energy. And omega 1 is 1.02% of this 20 and omega 2 is 0.98% of this 20. Okay, so this is omega 1 is maximum speed, omega 2 is minimum speed, omega is mean speed. Okay, so here we can also write that I by 2 is omega 1 minus omega 2 plus omega 1 plus omega 2. Okay, so this is omega 1 plus omega 2 by 2 is your omega. So this is omega 1 minus omega 2. Okay, so multiply it by omega and divided by omega square. So it will become omega 1 minus omega 2 divided by omega. This is coefficient of fluctuation of speed. Okay. So CS. Okay. So I is moment of inertia applying. Okay. That if the percentage fluctuation is plus minus 2, then the coefficient of fluctuation of speed is double of this. Okay. So it will be 0.04. Or we can solve it by finding out omega 1 and omega 2 also by taking 1.2, sorry, 1.02 multiplying 20 with 1.02 and for omega 2 multiplying with 0.9. Okay. So we will put the value directly. Okay. Then we can find out I is equal to 400 divided by 20 square to 0.04. Okay. 20 gram meter square. Okay. So answer is there 25. Okay. Okay. Question number 31. Question number 31. Next. Next question number 32. Question number 32. A compound gear train with gears P, Q, R, S and S has number of teeth 20, 40, 15 and 20 respectively. Gears Q and R are mounted on the same shaft as shown in figure below. The diameter of the gear Q is twice that of gear R. If module of gear R is 2 mm, the center distance in mm between gears P and S. So we have to determine this distance P and S. So here for P, the number is 20, for Q, number is 40, and for R, number is 15, and for S, number is 20. So options are A 40, B 80, C 120, D 160. Okay. So this is the figure. So as P and Q are in mesh, so module of P and Q is same. Okay. So F and module and R and S are in mesh, so module of R and S will be same. Okay. So uh, diameter of the gear as number of teeth are given for R. So diameter of the gear will be gear R will be diameter of the gear R will be module is d by t. Okay. So diameter will be 2 into 50. Okay. Module is 0. Module is of gear R is 200. Okay. So diameter of the gear R is 13. So similarly, now now we know the diameter. Okay. And R and DS are in mesh. So dr by ds is equal to tr by ts. Okay. You can find out diameter of ds also, that is 40 mm. Okay. Once diameter of R is known, now diameter of S is also known. Okay. Now next diameter of Q. Now Q and P are also in mesh. Okay. Diameter of Q is twice that of gear R. Okay. Now diameter of Q is twice that of R. Okay. So diameter of R is known, so we can find out diameter of uh, Q. Okay. That is 2 into 30. Diameter of DS, DR, diameter of DR. Okay. So that will be 60. Now the P and Q are in mesh, so we can find out diameter of P. That is 30 mm. Okay. Now the center distance is this plus Q. Okay. This is dq by 2, this is dq by 2, this is dr by 2, this is ds by 2. So center distance between P and S is dq by 2, dq by 2, dr by 2, ds by 2. So it is equivalent of, let us see once again. So this distance is dq by 2, this distance is dq by 2, this distance is dr by 2 and this will be dx by 2. No, actually we are equated for is option B. Option number 32 B. Okay. Next is question number 33. A pin jointed uniform rigid rod of weight W and length L is supported horizontally by an external force F as shown in the figure below. The force F is suddenly removed. At at the instant of force removal, the magnitude of vertical reaction developed at the support is. So this is the figure, and this F is suddenly removed. Okay. Now we have to find out the reaction. Options are A 0, B W by 4, C W by 2, D W. Okay. So let us see. Okay. So this is your diagram. Now when F is removed, the the road will try to come down. Okay. So there will be angular acceleration in the downward direction. So inertia force will be in upward direction. Okay. And W is the weight of the road that will be acting in downward direction, and suppose R is the force. Okay. Now your I is about this. Okay. That is ML square. Okay. So I alpha is ML square into alpha. Okay. Now taking moment about this point. So that is I alpha or hinge point. That movement will be zero because it is hinge. So I alpha is equal to W L by 2. Okay. So I is ML square by 3 into alpha W L by 2. Okay. So alpha is 3G by 2L. So alpha is your 3G by 2L from this. Okay. Now we have this angular acceleration. Okay. Now it is the rotating over this point. Okay. So the we can find out the net acceleration at this point. So this is alpha into L by 2. So this is L by 2. Okay, this is alpha to L by 2. Okay. So acceleration is because angular acceleration is alpha, and this distance is alpha L. So the net acceleration of this point is will be alpha into L by 2. But so the and so if m is the mass of this road, then it is the weight will be acting as equal. Then m will be equal to W by G. So as the angular as we found the acceleration here, so the ratio when we balance the forces at this point. So we have to take this W and we have to take the inertia force acting upward. Okay. Okay. So this acceleration is P by alpha. Okay. And mass is your W by G. So the inertia force acting is W by 4 into 3. And at this point W is acting downward. Okay, W is acting downward. So the net force acting here is this W minus the inertia force. Okay. So this uh, so W minus 3 W by 2 that is W by 4. So here the force is acting as W by 4, and so to balance the vertical forces the R should be W by 4. Okay, when we balance these forces. Okay, so the net force at the center is W by 4. So R should be W by 4. Okay, so answer is B. Question number 23. The answer is B. Next. Next question is question number 39. A single degree of freedom system having mass 1 kg and stiffness 10 kN per meter initially at rest is subjected to an impulse force of magnitude 5 kilonewton, for 10 to the minus 4 seconds. The amplitude in mm of resulting free vibration is option A 0.5, option B 1, option C 5, option D 10. Okay, so take a spring mass system. Okay, now when we apply a small force for very small time, then it gets deflected. Okay, but then it gets deflected. Okay, so that force is causing sudden deflection. Okay, so that force is just F, and so the deflection caused by this force is just F by K, that is 5 by 10. Okay, so that is 1 by 2 or 1.00. When pulse for 5 kilonewton acts on acts for a infinitesimal small period of 10 power minus 4 seconds. Okay, this force is only to provide the initial amplitude. When we take swing, we just apply the force and then release it. Then the force is F and deflection is given to the spring. Then they start vibrating like that. Okay. So initial deflection will be corresponding to this F. Okay. So that will be F by K, and 5 by 10 is equal to 1 by 2, 0.5. So answer is A. Next question. Next question is question number 40. A bar is subjected to fluctuating tensile load from 20 kilonewton to 100 kilonewton. The material has yield strength of 240 lpa and endurance limit in reverse bending is 160 lpa. According to Soderberg's principle, the area of cross-section in mm square of the bar for the factor of safety 2 is option A 400, option B 600, option C 750, option D. So now the bar is subjected to this fluctuating load 20 to 100. Okay. So the mean load is, as load is fluctuating, we have to calculate the mean load. We are taking average of these loads. Mean load is 60 kilonewtons. Okay. And variable load is maximum minus median. Variable is 60 40 kilonewtons. Okay. So the mean, if A is the area, then mean stress is 60 by, okay, and variable stress is your 40 by. Now, according to Soderberg principle, we have sigma m by sigma y, where sigma y is yield stress, and sigma m is mean stress, and sigma b by sigma e. Sigma b is variable stress, and sigma e is endurance limit is equal to 1 by f. So f of is your 2. So sigma y is your 240. Okay, and sigma is 150. Putting these values, you can find out A. Okay, that is 1000 mm. Yes. So answer is here option B, question number 40. Question number 40. Okay. Next, a simply spotted beam of length L is subjected to varying distributed load sine. A simply spotted beam of length L is subjected to a varying distributed load sine 3 pi xl Newton per meter, where the x is the distance measured from the left pole. The magnitude of vertical reaction in Newton at the left pole is option A 0, option B L by 3 pi, option C L by pi, option D 2L by pi. Okay. So here, now if we draw this diagram, if we draw this curve, okay, by putting different value of x, okay, and taking x, taking maximum value of x is equal to uh, L, okay, because the length is L, and maximum value as L and minimum value as 0, okay, we get this curve. Okay, in your distance. Okay. So L is the length, RA is your reaction, R and RB is your reaction. Okay. So here we get a symmetrical shape about the center, about about the center on the left side and on the right side. There are same kind of load distribution. Okay. So its center will lie at the center of gravity of this load will lie at the center, okay, because of symmetrical distribution. Okay. So and the load intensity is given by this sign P by X by L. Okay. So the total load we can calculate by integrating it up to 0 to L. Okay. So this will come out as 3L by 2L by 3 pi. Okay. To perform integration. As it is symmetric. Okay. So RA it will be equal to RB because it's symmetric about the center. So that will be half of this 2L by 3 pi. So it is answer is your L by 3 pi. Okay. So answer 41B. 41B. Okay. Next question. Next question is your question number 48 and 49. Common data question 48 and 49. A single riveted lag joint of two similar planes as shown in figure below has the following geometrical and material details. So this is your load P, W, okay, and these are the uh, rivets, okay, and P is the thickness, okay. Weight of plate W is 200 mm, weight is 200 mm, okay. Thickness of plate T is equal to 5 mm. Number of rivets are 3. Diameter of rivet is dr. Okay, that is 10 mm. Diameter of rivet hole is 11 mm. Okay, now the difference in diameter of rivet and diameter of hole. Okay, the allowable tensile stress of the plate sigma p is equal to 200 MPa, and allowable shear stress of the rivet is sigma is equal to 100 MPa. Allowable bearing stress for the rivet is sigma c, that is 150. There are two questions we have been discussing. If the rivets are to be designed to avoid crushing failure, the maximum permissible load in kilonewton is option A 7.5, B 50, C 22.5, D 30. Okay. Now, if the rivet are to be designed to avoid crushing, so crushing will be take place of rivet only. Okay, so we have to take the diameter of rivet. Okay, so crushing of plate is not doesn't take place. Okay, so crushing of rivet takes place. So we have to take diameter of rivet. Okay, so the crushing area is your NBT, so diameter of rivet is equal to 15, and crushing strength is given. Okay, so it will be 22.5. Answer is C. Okay. Now, if the plate are to be designed to avoid bearing failure, the maximum permissible load is PD. Now, the tearing will take place of plate, and plate is provided. In the plate we have made a hole that is of diameter 11 mm. So the strength of the plate is weakened by this hole. So the area for the plate is your uh, number of rivets. Okay, number of rivets are 3. Okay, and so this dimension will be W minus 3dr, 3dh. Okay, and okay, so this dimension will be 3dh. So this is the uh, 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 this is dimension perpendicular to the load. Okay, and other dimension perpendicular to the load is thickness of the plate, that is T. Okay, so area will be W minus 3dh. We will take the diameter of hole in this case. Okay, so T will be 5 mm and the W minus dh will be 167. So tensile strength is given sigma T into area. Area is given 164 into 5. Okay, so answer is 167 equal 0 or 167 Newton. So answer is T. Okay, thank you.